Chapter 3. The Biosphere. What is ecology? The scientific study of interactions among organisms and between organisms and their environment or surroundings. Biosphere, the largest environment. It contains the combined portions of the planet in which all of life exists, including land, water, and air. Levels of organization. To understand relationship within the biosphere, ecologists ask questions about events and organisms that range in complexity from a single individual to the entire biosphere. Species, a group of organisms so similar to one another that they can breed and produce fertile offspring. Populations, groups of individuals that belong to the same species and live in the same area. Communities, groups of different populations that live together in a defined area. Ecosystem, collection of all the organisms that live in a particular place together with their non-living physical environment. Biome, a group of ecosystems that have the same climate and similar dominant communities. The biosphere is the highest level of organization that ecologists study. 3.2. Energy flow. Producers. Sunlight is the main energy source for life on Earth. Some type of organisms rely on their energy stored in organic chemical compounds. For example, mineral water that flows underground or boils out of hot springs and undersea vents is loaded with chemical energy. Photosynthesis. When autotrophs use light energy to power chemical reactions that convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and energy-rich carbohydrates such as sugars and starches. Chemosynthesis, process by which some organisms use chemical energy to produce carbohydrates. Consumers. Heterotrophs, organisms that rely one on another for energy and food supply. Many kinds of heterotrophs. Herbivores eat only plants. Carnivores eat animals. Omnivores eat both plant and animals. Detritivores feed on plant and animal remains and other dead matter. Decomposers break down organic matter. Feeding relationships. Food chain, series of steps in an ecosystem in which organisms transfer energy by eating and being eaten. Food webs, network of complex interactions formed by the feeding relationships among the various organisms in an ecosystem. Ecological pyramids, a diagram that shows the relative amount of energy or matter contained within each trophic level in a food chain or food web. Energy pyramid. Only about 10% of the energy available within the trophic level is transferred to organisms and at the next trophic level. Biomass pyramid. The total amount of living tissue within a given trophic level, usually expressed in terms of grams of organic matter per unit area. Cycles of matter. 3.3. Recycling in the biosphere. Unlike the one-way flow of energy, matter is recycled within and between ecosystems. Biogeochemical cycles. Process in which elements, chemical compounds, and other forms of matter are passed from one organism to another and from one part of the biosphere to another. The water cycle. All living things need water to survive. Water moves between the ocean, atmosphere, and land. Evaporation, the process by which water changes from liquid to an atmospheric gas. Transpiration, the process which water enters the atmosphere by evaporating from the leaves of plants. Nutrient cycles. Nutrients, all the chemical substances that an organism requires to live. Every living organism needs nutrients to grow and carry out essential life functions. The carbon cycle. Carbon is a key ingredient in all living organisms. It is also found in the oceans, in the air, and in certain types of rocks. The nitrogen cycle. All organisms need nitrogen to make amino acids, which are used to build proteins. The phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus is essential to living organisms because it forms part of important life-sustaining molecules such as DNA and RNA. Nutrient limitation. Primary productivity. the rate at which organic matter is created by producers. The amount of available nutrients affects primary productivity.